はじめまして。僕の名前はブランドン・モリオ・石方と申します。どうぞよろしくお願いします。Hello everyone, my name is Brandon Morio Ishikata, and it's wonderful to meet you all. Now, 4 years old, I remember my parents driving my sister and me from Santa Clarita, California, all the way to San Fernando. Now, as we would dodge the I-5 traffic and quickly turn on the air conditioning due to the Los Angeles heat, I asked my mom, why are we in such a rush to get to a parking lot? She replied, we're going to practice the dances for the upcoming Obon festival, and it's time to honor our past. Plus, if you stay the entire practice, you may get a free snow cone popsicle at the end. Oh, and when my mom said that, I was sold. By the way, the free snow cone, you better count me in on that one. As my family would attend these weekly practices taught by the Nisei, or second generation Japanese Americans, guess what my sole motivation was? Snow cones! It was so snow cone, y'all, which, by the way, strawberry, lemon lime, and blueberry is my favorite combination. Now, as I started to grow older and started to appreciate the beauty of these Japanese dances, I started to see a bigger purpose and change within myself. Now, as a professional dancer who studies ballet, who studies jazz, who studies hip-hop, and even, thank you, you're welcome, Latin ballroom, I never realized that learning dances of my cultural heritage would ignite my life philosophy of being a firework in people's lives. Now, I want to talk about my Obon journey and how it's taught me 3 important life lessons. Number 1, intergenerational connection through the Obon circle. 2, cultural acceptance through the Obon Odori dances. And 3, kindness through igniting our inner fireworks. All 3 lessons are folded seamlessly together like a crisp origami crane. And the lessons combined have taught me and empowering my Japanese American voice. Now, first, like any good dance, I want to give a foundation of where my Obon and Bon Odori, or the Japanese folk dances, and where they started from. Now, Obon is traditionally a Japanese festival that honors those who have passed on. Now, I want you to think of this tradition. If you think of it like Dia de los Muertos, or Day of the Dead within Mexican culture. Now, rooted within Buddhist texts and traditions, Obon first started when a devout monk dances with joy upon successfully releasing his deceased mother's spirit from the realm of hungry ghosts. Now, during the Meiji period of 1868 to 1912, Bon Odori was actually banned in Japan, as it was thought to encourage immoral behavior, especially among the young. Now, thankfully, the ban was lifted during the Taisho period of 1912 to 1926, and new dances and music were formed, combining Western instruments with Japanese ones. Now, before World War II, between 1935 and 1940, Obon and Bon Odori first emerged onto the United States. And on December 7th, 1941, the bombing of Pearl Harbor ignited World War II. And unfortunately, Executive Order 9066 was issued by President Franklin D. Roosevelt on February 19, 1942, which caused the forced removal of Japanese Americans into incarceration camps because they were deemed as a threat to national security. And out of the over 120,000 Japanese Americans, my family actually were pictured here and photographed by the famous Dorothea Lange. Now, during this time, during the incarceration camps, Japanese Americans emphasized their Americanness to show their allegiance, but they still maintained their Japanese customs. Truly, during this time, during the incarceration camps, many Buddhist communities actually put on Obon and Bon Odori. Now, central to its celebration amongst the Japanese Americans are the folk dances performed to the steady beat and the beat called the taiko, or what's called the drum. The taiko sits upon a raised platform called the yagura, and the musicians use bachi, or drumsticks, to keep in time with the Obon Odori dancers. Now, as time has moved on, dances were simplified, but with a return emphasis of Obon Odori as folk dances. And temple members, such as the San Fernando Valley Japanese American Community Center, where I first learned how to dance, temple members were now responsible for choosing and teaching the dances to their congregation. Now, it's really important to know that at any Obon, participation is extremely diverse, from the young and old, formally trained and informally trained. And truly, if you think about the guiding purpose of what Obon Odori is, it's to set aside the ego through unself-conscious dancing. Now, you may hear a common phrase at the Midwest Buddhist Temple in Chicago. They commonly say, "You are a fool if you dance, and a fool if you don't, so you might as well be a dancing fool." During the Obon festival, you can see various different types of clothing, such as a yukata, which is a lightweight summer kimono shown on the left, or even a happy coat, which is a short kimono-like jacket. And by the way, the snow cone is serious business. Now, during this time, the dancers perform the dances on a summer night filled with lanterns, and in some traditions, people light the lanterns to guide their ancestors back to the spirit world. Now, Obon is a shared experience, and I want to talk about how there are 3 symbols that have really influenced my life journey. Number 1, the Obon circle, 2, the Obon Odori dances, and 3, the colorful lanterns and attire. Now, to first start us off, Obon tradition starts like this. There are a series of lines that wrap around the parking lot into a series of circles. Now, imagine this. If you cut the trunk of a tree, you will see the circle layers that represent the history of the tree. During this time, as the music and the tiger drummers play, the elder generations would stand in the center of the circle, and the younger generations would stand in the outer parts of the circle. The elders lead these simple choreographed dances, and the younger generation follow along in unison. To me, the Obon circle symbolically represents the unity and understanding of coming together through intergenerational connection. Now, as a Japanese American, a distinct part of our culture is giving our highest respect to our ancestors, who stand at the core of the Obon, and those who have paved the way toward achieving the American dream. Now, while most traditional Western dancers think of their inaugural dance teachers, such as prima ballerinas, now my first dance teachers and my first inspirations were the Nisei, like Sachi Doi. As time moves on and as the elders also pass away, we always remember the core of who we are from the elders. As they pass on these dances, we will continue the legacy and the lessons that they have taught us. Now, if we think about this and all the things about the mentoring, I always think about this common thing where people think about what's an important mentor to you, whether it be a parent, guardian, family member, friend, or even a teacher. Mentoring transcends beyond blood-related family members, and the root comes from the heart. My high school theater teacher and mentor, Lisa Sandoval from Franklin High School in Elk Grove, California, has not only mentored me, but she has also guided me from the outer circle of being a student performer to the inner circle of being a professional. She is one of the many mentors in my life who have influenced me as a mentee and instilled the thirst for knowledge and lifelong learning. She has really influenced my mentorship style and all my mentors through their selfless hearts, and it always reminds me of my favorite Jackson 5 lyric, "Just call my name and I'll be there." Now, if we think about mentoring, we really think about this. It may look easy, but it is a shared experience where high engagement is required by both the mentor and the mentee. As a mentor, I teach my mentees 3 important life lessons. Number 1, keep in contact with me so I can hear about all their amazing accomplishments. 2, invitations to those important life events. And my fraternity brothers over there, I'm excited for Thursday, by the way. #rewards. And also 3, pay it forward to others with kindness, respect, and love so the service of mentoring can continue on. As much as I teach my own mentees, equally, my mentees teach me. Truly, like the tree trunk of circles, as mentors and mentees strengthen one another, the wisdom continues to flourish and thrive. And like the Obon circle, the harmony and the effort put into a mentor and mentee relationship, the circles can continue to grow and thrive, and also the legacy and the lessons of our elders are preserved. Now second, Obon teaches us the fundamental lessons of cultural acceptance, understanding, representation, and telling authentic stories critical to the growth of the Asian community. Like to me, when I always think of the Obon, I always think about how it's really important to keep preserving and how it's like a textbook of knowledge. Now, when we think about these dances, I always think about how it's not about showing off, it's about honoring our past. Now, some dance styles, such as jazz and hip-hop, stress the importance of showing off and performance quality, but it's really not about that. It's really about honoring those who came before us. When the elders pass on these sacred dances to us, we are able to create that chain reaction and also pay forward those legacy lessons that they have taught us. Now, with any dances, there are many different types of Obon Odori dances, and one famous one is called Tonkobushi, or what's also known as the coal miner dance. Now, certain dances have significance to the Obon Odori community, and the Obon Odori dance called the Tonkobushi is one of the standard ones. In fact, when I went to a Japanese-American wedding 2 years ago, when the song played, everyone ran to the dance floor, like the Cupid Shuffle, hey, at an American wedding. Now, it's really important to know that Obon Odori is a textbook to me, a textbook of knowledge ideals that can help cultivate cultural acceptance. It can really help us really bring out our authentic cultural voice. Now, as a professional dancer and a teacher, I don't expect that my wonderful students, they are not dancing with the star professional. Hey, level on day number one. Dance, like any sport or skill, requires dedication, hard work, and more importantly, growth mindset. Obon Odori is really about preparing us, and each dancer must be prepared to have their tools. For example, they must be prepared to have the uchiwa, or the feya, the kachi-kachi, or the castanet, or even the hachimaki, or the headband. Obon Odori dancers spend weeks in parking lots all across the United States, so they are new to some of the elders on the actual day. Like a final performance, or even a midnight of the Obon, what we learn to be is our true, authentic self. My mentor, Anna Jakowski, always reminds me and to really stress the importance of being our actual best. And so we can celebrate diversity through the unity and understanding of cultural competency as an ensemble. But lastly, since the COVID-19 pandemic, we have seen an increase of anti-Asian hate, distasteful rhetoric, and a misrepresentation of the Asian American experience. In a divided, social media-driven world, it's easy for us to forget about who we are and the light that we bring to others. The lessons from the Obon in the parking lot align with my Asian value of paying it forward to others with kindness. Just like the dark night, the lanterns, yukatas, and the booming stroke, the sound of the taiko drum are symbolic of a firework igniting the sky. To me, Obon Odori has really empowered me to bring up the inner firework within all of us. As a professional dancer and educator, when I'm able to teach my students, I teach them to be the bright spectacle of critical hope for those in their darkest times. And when I'm able to fire with my colors, just like the booming stroke and the sound of a taiko drum, I am able to create a chain reaction of kindness so others can look towards the sky and feel a sense of peace, harmony, and belonging. While Obon Odori is about honoring our past, I truly teach my own students, and I always carry on my mentor, Dr. Kara Bauer from San Diego State University, to tell my students that they matter. Now, in conclusion, while there are many more stories of Obon Odori from the parking lot in San Fernando, I really remember the kind Nisei and bring in the fire within me, with those kind Nisei, as they would hug and chat with me at the end of practice, wanting to continue the tradition of these Japanese dances. But one of the things that they also did was go to Habiko and Yukata and really instill that life philosophy of being a firework. This life philosophy has literally taken me all around the world, from being the homecoming king of San Diego State University to earning a full ride scholarship in partner dancing from Chicago, to performing at the 100th anniversary of Miss America in Connecticut, and earning UIC's New Academic Advisor of the Year. But if anyone ever had to ask me, what is your greatest accomplishment? What is your X factor? Guess what I would say?
Students!
And it's my students who, by the way, gifted me this time for the talk today. Thank you, HDAP, by the way. As I start to grow older and I start to get towards the center of the circle, I really see how I can pass on the Japanese values of kindness, respect, and love to my own students. And as the Nisei have always taught me, and when I learned from my parents, I will always hold on to one key phrase, Okagesamade, which means thanks to you. As much as the Niseis have taught me, it's my students who taught me about being gritty, never giving up, and to continue creating more circles of the Obon, of unity, care, and love. Arigatou gozaimashita. Thank you very much.